Yeah, that's right. The ship starts sinking, it starts going up, and people are sliding. Don't worry, this is the slide function. It's fine. Glasses are flying up. People are hanging from the side. Like, everything's still fine.
The ground is flat.
No.
Don't question
Meanwhile,
it.
there's a second ship that pulled up, funded by the Chinese Communist Party, and they're rowing over, being like, "Don't worry about it, Hunter, get the boat." That's exactly what they're doing. I think a lot of the business dealings Hunter Biden is doing is basically, like, these people are running this country into the ground in more ways than one. From neighborhoods falling apart to the tribalistic nature of humans, of society right now. I'm wondering if their attitude is just like, look, one man's not going to fix this. Grab what you can, every man for himself.
I've been thinking about all we're going to say.
No, I was about to say, it's like a multi-layered hedge, basically. You already know it's going to burn down. So why not extract all the wealth that you can? That way, when it burns down, you're, sitting kind of pretty, looking like royalty. Then you can come back and the ashes are there, and then you can suddenly say, hey, guys, we have money. We can fix this. And then you basically take all the credit, rebuild it. Everybody's ground down and depressed. It's kind of like, Russia post-Soviet collapse, really, where, that's why all the drinking Ruski, sort of, those stereotypes come from, because when the Soviet collapsed, they basically gave Russian people all these waivers and, things like this when these people couldn't even feed themselves. And so then basically you had the oligarchs and the American banks basically come over and buy up almost all the industry and, turn Russians into basically slave workers. And then next thing you know, well, it's back, but now the oligarchs run everything and they've already got all the money.
Yeah, I got an idea. If it's all going to come crashing down, go buy some chickens. Buck, man. Because the people who are able to sustain themselves more than others are going to be better off if this is the trend that continues. I do think there's an alternative. And that's why I said we need to make America great again. And I don't know if I'm saying it the exact same way that all the Trump supporters saying it, but I imagine probably when Jack Posobiec brings up Pizza Hut when he was a kid, and there's a salad bar, and if you read a book in school, they gave you a free donut, and you got a free, I don't know, there's a bunch. All I remember was pizza. That's all I remember. Because I remember there was a Pizza Hut next to a Dunkin' Donuts, so I'd get the free pizza, and then when we were leaving, I'd go get a free donut. There was other stuff on it, like
it was like drug addiction. Like they give you the cheese and the high fructose corn syrup and the sauce with sugar in your donut.
The good old days.
Hey, you didn't know that we were at war,
Bro, I doubt back then they had all that stuff.
It was like after 92 is when the high fructose started coming in. But we were living in a haze of ignorance at that time.
You know what, though?
Maybe.
The decline of literacy levels, because I know you guys see in the schools how, like, kids can't even read anymore. It started when they took away the personal pan pieces. That's when it happened.
Now you see how they're tweeting?
Oh my God, it gives me a headache, bro.
It's all like court stenographer shorthand.
And and I grew up with it. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm black, and so obviously we have our own kind of like our own dialect and our own vernacular and stuff.
I assumed you were a white supremacist.
Dude, I know. You see those five guys though? Jesus Christ, not seeing black people anymore. Man, these white people out here crazy. But nah, bro, like
white supremacists, man.
Yeah, man.
Dave Chappelle called it.
Dude,
what were you saying? We derailed you.
No.
So you're black. Please continue.
I know. Hierarchy, guys, hierarchy. But no, it's just sort of funny, when you sort of think about it. I grew up in where like we used our own vernacular and our own dialect when we talked, and it was mainly just because it was shorthand. Certain words we just didn't know how to pronounce. Now you see people out here purposely typing, like purposely misspelling, and like the errors and just the misuse of there and. It gives me palpitations.
Oh, it's hard for me, man. Like, where are all the semicolons? They exist for a reason. It's two different subjects in one sentence. There's no comma. Use the semicolon to delineate the two subjects.
I'm going to write you a note, and I'm going to leave it in your room. It's going to have no semicolons and improper punctuation.
I'm going to puke on myself. Hey, I want to tag on what you're saying about the oligarchs earlier, because this has been crossing my mind last night. I'm like, okay, this Russian invasion of Ukraine. It's not Putin. I mean, Putin's one of them. It's the Russian oligarchs that are in charge. It's basically a hyper-capitalist state of oligarchs are running that thing. And it's no wonder they want to conquer a trade port in Sevastopol. They want that trade because it's what hyper-capitalists would do in civilization if you were playing against them and they had a government run by a bunch of uber people just like capitalists. So, but I'm wondering, for the capitalists of the United States, the oligarchs in the United States, if they want to control the world, they would want to ally with the capitalists of Russia against, I would think. Either they're too stupid and they think that really they can beat them in a sort of attrition, or they're intentionally taking us to war to kill off the common man, so that, like you said earlier, they could come back and rebuild with all their finances.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo, because these aren't regular capitalists. These are crony capitalists.
Right.
Crony capitalists don't care about free market competition. They just want to fix the game for them to win. But, it's funny you bring that up because actually, Russia now, the oligarch problem isn't near as bad as it used to be. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when the IMF came in and they tried to do what was called shock therapy, where you convert a formerly communist nation to a capitalist nation, the oligarchs botched the whole thing on purpose because they wanted to buy all the infrastructure up for cheap. Putin, when he came to power, actually drove most of those oligarchs out of Russia. And guess where they went?
Ukraine.
Ukraine and to the U.S.
Oh.
So a lot of this anti-Putin sentiment that we see, Putin's, let's go on for what he is. I mean, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but, compared to some of the other Russian leaders, the people of the Russian Federation, he's actually a moderate. I've heard that, and, you can't take my word for gospel, but a lot of Russians are, pretty frustrated that he pity-patted, with the war, that he had this kind of kid's glove approach with Ukraine to begin with. And then, when they brought in Surovikin or General Armageddon, basically now they're going full scale anyways, and they're just like, why didn't you do that, before? And it's, it's kind of crazy how we have all this Russian rhetoric going anyways, but it's just old oligarchs of the past and, angry, rich boomers with a, war grudge against Russia just want to finish picking bones clean because, they have all that gas,
All that Cold War brainwash.
Yeah, man. It's coming to roost. So it's crazy.
I'm looking at some of the oligarchs I just went to Wikipedia, Russian oligarchs. We have Arkady Rautenberg, Gennady Timchenko, Alisher Usmanov. Are these names ringing a bell? Peter Avin, Mikhail Prokhorov, Oleg Deripaska. There's 9 of them. Vagot Alekperov, Vladimir Potanin, and Roman Abramovich. He's probably the most famous name-wise, Roman Abramovich. I've heard of.
What's crazy is the cost of property in Ukraine, because there's no way the average Ukrainian can own property unless you're a coder. So I know people. I mentioned I have friends who are Ukrainian, and they'll say that like the average salary is like $400 a month or something like that. And if you want to buy property, the prices are comparable to a property in the United States. It's like $300,000 to buy a studio apartment in the city or something like that. And if you're making $400 a month, you will never buy that. But if you're a developer or coder, you're making $150K per year U.S. while living in Ukraine. You're living like a king. You're over there. So what ends up happening is the way they described it to me, the property is all owned by oligarchs, and everyone else has to rent from them. And you can buy it, it's for sale, but only the wealthiest people and foreigners come and actually buy the property. Ukrainians struggle with it.
So they own nothing, but do they like it?
It's a pretty chill place. They got cabbage, and you can get cabbage and beef and stuff like that. When I was in Kiev, I was at the Maidan Square. It was awesome. It was a blast. It was a cool place. So it really sucks what's been going on, to be completely honest. Going to little food buffets. I remember when I was there, they had like they had a TV playing with music on it, and then Paris Hilton came on, music video, and then I was like, you guys get Paris Hilton here? My friend was like, of course, we get all the American celebrities. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Paris Hilton music doesn't exist in the United States. Like, we don't listen to it. And you guys do. And that's kind of funny to me.
I was thinking about this invasion and where there's a lot of, like, kickback now from my friends that I guess you consider more liberal. They're like, Ukraine is Ukraine. We don't want Ukraine to give up anything. Russia should not be invading. Get out. We'll send American troops to die to keep up. And I'm like, where was your voice when the United States invaded Iraq? We're still invading Iraq. The invasion doesn't stop the day after it starts. If we're still at presence there, we're invading it in the moment. Why aren't you speaking out against what you can actually control?
A lot of them are too young. A lot of them are too young and just, if I can be crass, too stupid to even understand that. People don't see the whole bigger picture. Honestly.
Ian mentioned we were living in ignorance, and someone super chatted saying, this is Christopher Marr saying, Ian, living in a haze of ignorance is called living the dream. But I think what ends up happening is you get a generation that raises their kids in ignorance. Then when they pass on the world to those kids, this is what you get. You get the Bidens. You get people being like Vosh when he came on the show, and I'm like, what? Isn't the corruption of the Biden family from when he was VP like a concern to you? And he's like, oh, I don't know anything about it. I was a little kid. I was in high school when that happened. I didn't pay attention. And I'm like, oh. So, like, the bad guy runs for office 10 years later, and you're just like, I just heard of this guy. You know? You're like, uh-huh. There's a lot of bad guys. You got to look into who they are.
Yeah, I think that's what, I can't say the RNC isn't guilty of this, but definitely the DNC, like, that's why they like young voters, because it's like a blank slate.
Right? Yeah, the DNC.
Yeah, I would say the DNC, like, that's why they often push these guys. I think the RNC, too, I think all political parties operate this way, but I think anytime you get this new class of 18-year-olds who have the right to vote, they don't remember 30 years of political history. And especially, it's even ones who are super politically engaged, they just haven't had enough time to learn everything and all the nuances of why this senator doesn't get along with that one and this deal. You can only know so much when you're young, but getting anyone to support your ideology, especially when you buy in with like sort of the name brand. I think of a lot of modern politics like rooting for sports teams. Like you don't know why your family supports this team, you just do. I think that is something that some political parties take in stride. They don't have to explain the sins of people they're now electing to president. Things that they did when they were senators mean nothing to people who are new voters.
Let's jump into this next story, and it's kind of changing the subject, but it goes in line with what we were talking about. We have this from TimcastIRL. PragerU personality details YouTube kids promoting LGBTQ content. These videos are not child-friendly, and YouTube is pushing them to indoctrinate kids. And it's worse than that. This is Aldo Budazzoni. YouTube Kids is grooming children with LGBTQ propaganda. Although I think you actually need to, you buried the lead here, and I mean this with all due respect. The real concern is that at a certain point, what Aldo says is he signed up an account made for 9 to 12-year-olds, and then one of the first videos that pops up recommends a kid meets gender nonconforming person. I'm not as concerned with just that. The issue is when it gets into the ideas of consent, and they're telling children about consent, and they start talking about, here we go, consent is giving permission to someone or something. Why are they giving 9 and 12-year-olds consent lessons in a sexual context? This is what's alarming about what YouTube Kids is doing. So you think it's just in the schools, and Ron DeSantis has his plan to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, but everybody in this is 5 steps behind what's actually been going on. And going back to ElsaGate, people have been giving their kids YouTube. Their kids they're like, YouTube Kids, it's good for you. And then you get some adult in a sexualized context like drag saying, let's talk about what it means to consent. And then in this thread, I think it's in this thread, you have Billboard Chris, we've been on the show, a guy telling him that their goal is to decouple age and consent. Quite literally saying he wants 12-year-olds to be able to consent with adults. This is what they're pushing on kids. I'm not surprised by it, but it's got to be insidious. It can't be overt. They can't come out right now and just say it. It's got to be a slow, creeping, malevolent force that goes under the radar. So when mom and dad are busy with work and they hand the iPad to the kid and sign up for YouTube Kids because YouTube Kids is safe, what does YouTube Kids say? Come here, little boy. Come into a sexualized context where we can tell you about consent. That's exactly what they're doing.
The internet and like television is like inviting a stranger into your home to babysit your children. Like if you wouldn't pick some random person off the street, you cannot trust anything that comes from the internet, cable TV. Like it is written by someone you don't know for a company that you don't know what their values are. Like even if you pick one video, the YouTube algorithm immediately throws up another video. Like there's no way for you to know for sure what's going to happen. And that's why, again, I can't help but think it's like inviting just a random person you met at the grocery store to come watch your kids for 2 hours. And I get it, like it's hard to be a parent, you've got a lot of stuff going on. Sometimes you need a break. You need to like have a way to engage your children that you don't need to be there present for, but like
what if
TV is not it, sir.
What if I told you that the YouTube Kids app was promoting child strippers to your 9 to 12-year-olds? Well, that's in the thread. Meet Desmond is amazing. Now, of course, his family's quite litigious, but there's a video of him dancing on stage for money at an adult gay bar. That is the same thing as go-go dancing. Why is a child doing this, and why are they promoting this to other children?
Well,
degradation of society.
That's for sure. Is that people are overly sexualized children will become overly sexualized adults and think it's normal or okay out of their own guilt. Like, hey, it's not so bad what happened to me, so
Which
this
is
isn't so bad.
Terrifying and sad.
Yeah, it really is. Cycle of abuse.
But it's crazy because it also plays into what we've been talking about the erosion of community. Again, when people are so into sex, when they're so into themselves and their own genders, like they're not paying attention to what's going on. They don't know about the local school board or city elections. They don't know about any of this stuff. All they know is just, it's about my sexual identity, my proclivities, indulging myself. Nothing else matters outside of just treating yourself. And it takes basically. And so it's, everything in life can be likened to sports. So basically what typically happens in football, normally quarterback, he gets the ball, he's looking up at the field, he's trying to find a receiver to throw the ball to, so he's got to be aware. But then when pass rush comes, they start throwing stuff in your face, he takes his eyes down, he can't throw the ball, he can't pay attention. You've suddenly stopped the game from progressing. He can no longer progress the ball, and that's what's happening with society. We've taken our eyes off of the prize, which is advancing humanity, technology, everything else, creating families. And now we put it down on our genitals.
Quite literally looking up at the stars. I'm thinking about sending probes to Alpha Centauri. It'll take like 80 years for a probe to get there. Can you imagine if we do that today? In 80 years, we will have probes in Alpha Centauri sending us data.
80 years?
Yeah, that's what I read anyway a couple weeks ago.
That sounds like really fast.
Yeah, it sounds super fast, like within a lifetime. I can go and double check it, but this is the stuff we should be focusing on.
Aliens are watching, they're just going like, they had a lot going for them when they went to that moon. Now I don't know what they're.
It's like when you're
We
calling
thought they might be a threat, but not so much anymore.
Some rich alien oligarch just lost all of his bet on this interdimensional betting app, and he's like, God dang it, humanity screwed the pooch.
But it reminds me of that expression, you can't see beyond the nose on your face, right? Like, if you can't stop but think about, your own identity and your own sexual pleasure, and we're introducing that earlier and earlier, how can you expect anyone to spend time thinking about, the society around them, or moral philosophy, or science, or anything else? Everything is about the internal, and I think it's good to be in touch with your emotions, but you can't be so dominated by your, personal consuming thoughts that you are, divorced from the world around you.
But wait, there's more, because we got to put a neat little bow on this. This ties into big pharma, because now when you get all these kids exploring all of these alternative sexualities, now you got the cisgender to trans pipeline. So they can now suddenly, if they want to explore, let's get some puberty blockers. Let's get some gender-affirming care. Yeah. The next thing you know, again, that's where social media comes in. We're right here at the whole dead internet theory. They start getting engagement from other people in that community. They start flooding them and love-bombing them. And so now they get addicted to that. The next thing you know, they take it further. Boom. Now you done fully trans the kid from YouTube Kids. And, that's omitting a lot of steps, but it's basically how it happens.
Let's talk about dead internet theory, right? If people aren't on the internet, it's all bots, then where are the people? Are they just not using the internet? Never did?
Yeah, they're touching grass, touching all kinds of grass.
I think there are tons of people who are not as engaged. We talk about this a little bit, but for your job and for all of us, being connected to the internet, being on Twitter, stuff like that, it is part of a professional hazard. You need to have the information. But if you are an electrician who gets up really early and works on jobs and comes back and you hang out with your family, you don't really have the time to just scroll on your phone endlessly and keep up with who's mad at who on Twitter. I mean, I think that there's just a life outside. The other part is some people actively choose not to be online. Right? They choose not to have television in their home. They choose not to sign their kids up for Instagram or whatever else. You can be disengaged, and you've talked about this a little bit, Ian. There are alternative platforms, right? I know some parents who want to share photos of their kids, but out of privacy concerns, they don't use Facebook. They use something more private. There are people who don't rely on the rest of the world for entertainment and for us professional content, and I think that's healthier. It's just hard because all of us need it. This is our job.
Yeah, I think about what if the power went out. That crosses my mind at least every week. What would my life become if we had no electricity?
I mean, part of me is just secretly in the back of my mind saying please, do it. Yes, because I got a van that can generate its own power, and I'll be down by that river just fishing.
Yeah. Well, I think of
back and just kicking the feet, some straw in the mouth, and just cast the line and forget about all those.
Well, I think of,
Yeah,
like,
me too.
all the reporters who, like, had to go sit in really boring town hall meetings to, like, get the information, and they had to call people on the phone and talk to them constantly. Like, journalists still do that from time to time, but, like, we are used to getting things much faster because we have the internet.
Nowadays, they just read tweets and report on tweets. Like, literally, MSN journalists, I don't know what they do. All they do is literally just write articles based on what, this world reacts to this world reacts to that, and they just
bro,
tweets.
do you know how many times some news outlets picked up one of my fake tweets and ran it as fact? No, for real. Like, there's just, how about when I said the Queen should be impeached? So I can't remember exactly what happened, but I said impeach Queen Elizabeth, and then meaww.com wrote an article saying, podcaster Tim Pool calls for, Queen Elizabeth to be impeached, and I was just like, holy crap.
When that started, it was
hilarious.
The indication of the rupturing of that form of media is when they just started quoting Twitter.
Yeah.
It was like 2013 or something.
Imagine this. Journalists, like, for the New York Times, walking into the middle of, the Lower East Side, and there's a guy outside just, like, rocking back and forth, like, impeach Queen Elizabeth. Impeach, sir, what was your name? What was your name? Bill Smith. Let's run it. And then goes back to the New York Times and says, front page, Bill Smith calls for impeachment of Queen Elizabeth.
That's what.
And then they're like, hey, look, he's a nobody. But people are going to see the story, and they're going to be like, wow, I wonder who this guy is.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Bill Smith, I hate that guy. God darn it, rabble. Oh, God, it's so funny, though, because, you sort of think about this, and then this goes into AI. Like, AI is literally getting all the data off of all the crazy stuff that gets all the clicks, and then it just incentivizes people to write even crazier articles, which causes people to tweet crazier stuff, bro.
And then people get in trouble for, like, interacting with tweets, too. Like, we move beyond just, like, people writing stuff. Like, it's like, Ian Crossman liked the impeach Queen Elizabeth tweet, so he is supportive of this movement. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? It just becomes this sort of hysterical culture off of something you wrote as a joke, or maybe you feel that way. Maybe you
can't impeach the Queen.
I know.
It's ridiculous. There have been several times where I've tweeted something that is intended to make neither point. So it's like meant to highlight just the circumstance. Like, I called the MSNBC Yasmin Vesuvian story about how she got the cold and got myocarditis, and I called it anti-vax propaganda. Because what, she had a cold for 3 months? Clearly, they were making a segment that was going to trigger anti-vaxxers and make them think this was, like, I'm not intending to make any point other than this is the narrative. This is, like, just highlighting this thing, basically. But they will take it and be like, Tim Pool is dead serious and thinks MSNBC does these things, and I'm like...
Part of their story is also, look how many people are listening to this guy. Look how many people are listening to that. They don't point it out. They're not like, it got 80,000 retweets, but they don't really report on stuff until it gets to a certain level of people listening, and then they're like, we have to take it serious. But we don't really know how.
Accelerate.
Writing a story about it.
At this point, guys, we just accelerate it as fast as we can, man. Just hot takes. They write hot stuff. People go mad. People go insane, and the loop and cycle just continues.
Let me pull up this tweet. This is an awesome tweet. This is from Clay Travis. He says, lots of athletes are finally catching on that left-wing sports media ask them political questions so the left-wing sports media members can write their own left-wing political opinions. Here's Azarenka calling that out. I don't know if we can play, like, if it's a longer video.
What do you guys want us to do?
Here we go. Listen.
About it. Like, talk about it. I don't know what's the goal here. That is continuously brought up, and these incidents that, in my opinion, have nothing to do with players, but somehow you keep dragging players into it. So, what's the goal here? I think you should ask yourself that question, not me.
Just to clarify on that though, does it frustrate you that, particularly last night, for example, there was a clear sort of pro-Russian demonstration happening within the grounds of the tournament, that these people are coming and using the Australian Open as a platform for these kind of demonstrations? Does that frustrate you?
Whatever the answer I'm going to give it to you right now, it's going to be turned whichever way you want to turn it to. So, does it bother me? What bothers me is there's real things that's going on in the world. And I don't know, are you a politician? Are you? Are you covering politics? Yes, and I'm a and I'm an athlete. And you're
Just pause real quick. I'm a sports journalist. She goes, yes, I'm an athlete.
asking me about things that maybe somebody says are in my control, but I don't believe that. So I don't know what you want me to answer.
So anyway, here's what I love about this. For one, obviously, these athletes are like, okay, at this point, what are you asking me about? We had that with, what was his name, Ivan Provorov, the
Hockey
Flyers, who was just like, look, I'll answer any question about sports, and then someone asked him about like gay rights, and he's like, what did I just say? So here's the thing. Dead internet theory. We're talking about Twitter being dead, engagement is way down for whatever reason, and I don't mean dead as in the platform's broken, I just mean like no one seems to be using it. Then we've got dead internet theory, the idea that since like 2016, no one's really used the internet. And now you have stories like this. What you see from this, sports journalists have literally nothing to write about. So they go to, what would you say, Malcolm, your principal career is? Like, what's your main career? Clinical research. So I'm curious. When cooking eggs in the morning, do you agree with Chef Andrew Gruel on adding vinegar afterwards and mixing it in?
Peer-reviewed studies.
See, I don't know what this question has to do with anything other than I can then go out and be like, clinical researcher says no vinegar on eggs, and it makes it sound like there's a scientific basis. It makes a fake story, and then they can go, I got a scoop. A guy said a thing. That's what the media is today, for the most part.
Man, that's scary. That
depressing.
Because people still take it seriously. That's the problem. Is that you were just saying it. Are people online like that? Do people see this happening? And in real life, people still take journalists seriously. That's what really freaks me out because they're getting their information from these people who are basically like scraping the bottom of the barrel and saying, hey, I got scoop, who's got the scoop, and they literally write nonsense to which people export to the real world. And this is what I always said was that, back in the day, they always said Twitter's not real life. I'm like, yeah, it's not real life, but it's got real life implications. Like, people literally use Twitter to source, but they're going to take out to the other people and talk about it around the water cooler or, to write articles about it.
Well, and for this incident, first off, that athlete's Belarusian. I just looked it up. So are they trying to trap her into being representative of?
Exactly.
And then also for this journalist, I'm so glad she's like, "Are you a politician?" She's like, "I'm a sports journalist." Is this sports journalist here's my chance to get launched into the political on the political beat, so I get more money or I can raise my profile because I had this good moment. It's just such a weird way to operate, and especially since I know there are people who would love to cover sports journalism at this level, to go to the Australian Open and interview these people because they love the sport, not because they are trying to make some political point to further their career. If you're going to further your career on sports journalism, ask her about preparing for this match. Ask her about something relevant. Don't make her a poster child so you can sort of transition into the political beat for your publication.
Yeah, I feel like the whole writing down what the guy said is kind of like 1994 journalism style. You can just watch the video of what she said. I don't need to hear someone write a story about what she said when I can listen to her say it. Or I don't need to hear someone write down she hit the ball 3 feet farther than the other girl who hit the ball. I can watch the show. I don't need that anymore. I have internet video. I can watch it 24/7. It's on demand.
I gotta be honest, man. It is. People often ask me, how do you do this job? Watching all this stuff, reading all this stuff every day, and I'm like, it does get really hard sometimes. I mentioned that we were hanging out at the casino because we like to go there. Now I started playing Hold'em last week, so we played 5 times now. It's fun. I love that game. Got to learn how to play it though, and that's funny. Anyway, the dealer was like, I hate politics. I don't want to talk about it. It's too awful. And I'm like, I totally get that. Because what this country is devolving into is our politicians are corrupt. Everybody knows it. Congress is corrupt. Everybody knows it. Have you guys ever heard that song, Everybody Knows? Who's the guy who sang that song?
Everybody Hurts is R.E.M. I don't know
Everybody Knows.
R.E.M.
The people in the chat are going to know what I'm talking about. And is it that line, everybody knows the fight is fixed, the poor stay
Leonard
poor.
Cohen?
Yeah, Leonard Cohen, there you go. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. That's just how it goes. Everyone knows the dice were loaded.
It was Leonard Cohen and Sharon Robinson wrote it together.
Everybody knows. And it's been that way for, when was that song written?
1988.
1988?
Yeah.
Man, I was 2 years old when people were talking about how the system was completely broken. And I grew up, and it's only gotten worse.
Well, it seems like that. It's become more apparent. But I think that we have more control as citizens now than we used to.
I agree with that. I agree there's an opportunity for success. I agree there's an opportunity for the phoenix to rise from the ashes. But I am not someone who just looks around and says everything seems worse than it was when I was a kid. I'm someone who decided to start asking older people. And so whenever I go out in the past several months, past year or so, like the most recent thing, we went to the antique shop. There's a guy and he's in his mid-60s, and I said, have you ever seen it in your life this bad? Never. Never. In terms of the violence, in terms of the corruption, the tribalism, the bifurcation, all of these issues, the economy. And I'm just like, I'm 36. In about a month and a week, I'm going to be 37. And I can tell you that in my life, it seems like things are way worse. Even like the economic crisis in 08, to me, maybe I was just too young and I wasn't experiencing it.
No, it wasn't that bad. 08 wasn't that bad. Unless you had a lot of money in the markets.
We are with like the lockdowns.
Nothing like it with the war.
2 years, forced medication, people not being able to leave their homes, people dying.
And the World Economic Forum, talking about the Great Reset. I mean, this is like tragedy.
We literally just went from having people like become millionaires overnight for selling mean stonks, basically. And, and now we're sitting up here having these same people losing all that money and trying to re-enter into the work. Like, it's bad.
Joe Biden gave, like, the authority of the American military to Vladimir Zelensky. What the hell is going on? As our president in our lives, like, and he just handed over carte blanche to this guy?
Yeah.
Or not literally, but, like, just so much money and tanks and, like, you do what you need to do to defend something that some amorphous. I want to talk, before we move on too far from this, I want to talk about consent, which was part of this original story. I don't know if we'll tap it off, but, like, part of what these people were, like, getting young kids to come on, and this is part of, like, social degradation and things like that, trying to get 12-year-olds to consent. I'm thinking genetic age and solar age are different. You can have an 85-year-old body that's been around the sun 85 times, but because you heal your body so much, it looks like it's 40 years old.
Dude?
It essentially is a 40-year-old body, but you've been 85 years. So you can see, like, just because you've been on
Rapid fire
18
bows,
times around
really?
the sun doesn't mean that you're more or less genetically evolved. We might have 12-year-olds that are more mature than in 150 years than 25-year-olds are today. Like, we may end up becoming. So I can see that. But prepare for that crazy argument to come out when they argue for grooming 12-year-olds and stuff. Is that it's not the same?
That's literally what the guy said.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
good.
What the pedo guy was
because
saying.
It's based in logic, but it's not based in reason. The other thing is, when you get someone to consent under duress, it's not a real form of consent. If they don't understand what they're consenting to, they're not really consenting legally.
Yeah. Right.
So a child...
Bro, it's capacity. If they have no capacity to consent, then you legally cannot, sign a contract with that person.
And if you have a gun to their head and say you like it. I like it. See, he said he liked... No, you can't do that legally. That's not a legal admission.
I'll tell you when it goes too far. When we start doing informed consent forms for research studies, for pediatric studies, where kids no longer need a parent guardian, because up until the age of 18, pediatric studies, and this is, agreed upon by
that's very beautiful of me.
And all of those things, and the Belmont reports that kids.
Thank you for coming into my chat to tell me
that
that.
has capacity to sign that. So when they start, conducting research studies, and God forbid, your kid gets enrolled in a study or something, and they didn't have to have you sign it, that's when you know you've gone too far.
Have you seen that?
No. And you can't. That's an ethical violation. You can't conduct research that way.
But it is a good marker. I mean,
Look at my loot.
Yeah, that's when you know.
Do you like my loot? That's a lot of shit.
And I wonder if that'll be introduced more gradually. You have questionnaires your kids can fill out at school they're anonymous, it doesn't matter, and then you slowly ramp it up. I mean, I think the issue for me with all of this is, like, why does your 12-year-old need to know about
I finally
consent?
have a
like,
shield,
are you teaching
too.
them about consent
How do you
before teaching
feel?
them about safety, right? Like, they should know by 12 that it's inappropriate for adults to approach them and talk about these things, right?
They're saying the opposite. They're saying...
Exactly. Like, it's
Nice.
weird that they're like, well, before anything, let's make sure you understand consent. And they might guise it as safety, right? When you're older, maybe you'll need to know this.
Do you
But,
like my shield?
Really, it's prepping. It's I know we're not supposed to say this, but grooming.
If the kid thinks that they know and society is telling them that they know, then what do they know other than that?
Gracias.
Yeah, and like what are kids famous for? For being like, I know everything. I know better than anyone ever at all times. Because that's just part of growing up, right? So if you're like, well, I've taught them about consent, and they say they know, and they're 12 or 13, like, it just creeps me out. I don't know.
The only time that Kamala Harris has ever said something that was ever correct.
Now we got to get out of this
was
cave.
That one video where she said kids are just really dumb and they're going to do dumb things. But then her party now wants them to vote and now wants them to...
You spent 130 smackaroos on Prop of the Rap on PS2.
I want to talk about
how did you do
Mr.
that?
Beast and Hassan Piker, because
why did you do
we had
that?
the story the other day that we didn't get into. Mr. Beast cured, I think it was 1,000 people's cataract blindness with surgery, and Hassan Piker got a bunch of, what is this, 24.8 million views? Are you kidding? Holy
Gotcha.
crap, look at this.
I didn't even know that was a game for the
so this tweet got
PS2.
24.8 million views.
Prop of
The
the
video
Rap.
was played 6.8 million times. And it says, Twitch streamer Hassan explained why he was filled with rage from watching Mr. Beast's newest video where he cures 1,000 people's blindness. So let's play this. It's only 45 seconds long, and
I'll look into it, though.
You watch the video, you go, oh, how cute and how nice. I watched the video, and I'm filled with rage.
What's wrong with you?
That we shut off access to a 10-minute procedure because we paywalled it and decided that, like, some people just simply can't get it. It is so insanely frustrating that it's up to, like, one YouTube guy to, like, decide to make content out of it that, like, the people who are too poor can't just fucking see. That's insane. Anyway, sorry. It's just, like, a deeply frustrating concept.
I spent $240 on Jammer
We didn't
Lammy.
cut off access to cataract surgery. It just costs money. And he is right, though, that it's up to
I
some
have a
YouTube
job.
to make
This is what I
content out
do.
of it to give these people
Interesting.
the surgery they need. But you know what? A lot of people were writing
Alrighty.
saying, like, he just discovered what charity is and things like that. And I'm like, as long as we're giving $100 billion to Ukraine, I'm with this guy. That $100 billion could be used to cure blindness of American citizens.
We got to get
living in
back to the
America,
house
in a country that
now.
we're supposed, like, that is
Before we
us,
die.
literally us. So, well, I don't agree with him on, like, it's paywalled and we should just do it. It's like, well, look, you got to pay a guy to do it. You know, he's got to you got to cover his costs and everything. He's got to incentivize him. You can't enslave him. But how much money did we send to Ukraine? $108 billion. So,
There you go.
how much money did this cost? $10,000 or $10 million for if that? How much do you think it costs for this surgery to cure cataracts?
I think 10 grand's a good guess. I'm checking it out now.
So we're talking $10 million?
Yeah.
10 million bucks.
Plus maybe a little bit more if he's housing them or flying them out or whatever. But like,
Right, bringing them in. But maybe it's not 10 grand for this surgery. Maybe it's 4 or 5. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, well, you know, I don't think we should just take people's buying power through taxation or through printing of money to then give someone else some kind of medical treatment. So I probably disagree with Hassan on that one. But look, if we're in a country that's sending all this money overseas for, like, gender studies programs, imagine if instead of Pakistani gender studies programs, we were like, we're gonna cure a bunch of people's blindness.
Alrighty.
So I gotta agree, it's kind of annoying
Now we
that
gotta
some YouTube
go
got to make content out of it
across
for people
the
to actually get the
ocean.
treatment they need. Meanwhile, they don't fix our streets.
pretty
They don't
vast.
fix our bridges. Here's what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily saying that we should have taxation to fund this infrastructure.
Why did your
I'm not saying,
history teacher
so long
do
as
the
they're taking all
worm?
of our money, let's compromise and be like, spend it on us. Fix our bridges, fix our roads, create jobs in construction that can restore our infrastructure, secure our borders, bring manufacturing plants back here. Instead, it's war in Ukraine, a border country in which we are not on the border of, and then our people are blind, and the YouTube guys got to click their eyes.
He also gave people 50
Oh
grand
shit, I
to watch
forgot I'm near
it.
another
One guy, he gave
portal.
it to Tesla 'cause
Oh
he's never
shit,
been
I
able
was
to drive.
actually
I saw the
close
video. You
anyway.
should watch it if you haven't seen it. And he's like, when I
That's
get my eyes fixed, I'm
awesome.
going to get a car and drive. Like, that was his dream. And Mr. Beast, Jimmy Davidson. I think it's Jimmy Davidson. Jimmy Donaldson. I mean, what a guy. He bought him a Tesla. He's like, crazy. And here's your Tesla.
Pop culture covered this today. Pop culture crisis, and they
The Hassan thing or the
Mr. Beast covers this because a bunch of people on Twitter were like, well, he's the Antichrist. Like, who is he to cure blindness in people? Like, what? Like, give this guy a break. Like, I understand the objection that he has, and I totally agree with you. Like, if we're spending billions of dollars on Ukraine, it's hard not to be an American citizen and be like, we have problems that if you were going to spend this
All
money,
right,
you
now
should
we
spend
back.
it domestically. But I also think, like, we shouldn't at all make this Mr. Beast's fault.
How
right?
rich is
Like,
he?
He tried to do a nice
How much
thing.
money
He has
does
a
he
lot of
have?
money, and he's trying to help people. Like,
Why do you want to be rich?
Jimmy cured their blindness. The people cured their own blindness with the help of medical technology that Jimmy sponsored.
Yeah.
That's the story. He wasn't like Jesus hands on people, which
And he
he
probably
probably
made-
could have done, but
But he
Jimmy
made a ton of
Buffett's
money
talking.
because of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The revenue on that is probably insane.
When I get a PS4, how about that?
That's the thing nobody, nobody ever thinks about is the PR in charity.
Or a PS2, I mean.
And there's no better return on investment when it comes to advertising.
Well, I was talking about this earlier. Imagine if big corporations did things like this for marketing. Their whole thing was, we got a $50 million marketing budget this month. I know, let's do the most good possible because it'll generate attention. Imagine if Pepsi was like, I know how to get the best, most viral. Look at this. Remember that commercial they did with that Jenner lady, and she like walks to the cop and hands him a Pepsi?
Oh yeah.
Think about how much money they spent on that, and how it was just like,
Total flop.
bad times.
Oh, you want to?
Honestly, maybe not a flop. We remember it, don't we?
Now we're doing good.
So maybe they were like, hey, it was a success, but they spend a lot of money on commercials that don't do anything. Here, I'll tell you this right now, Pepsi, Coke, look at what Mr. Beast did. Take your marketing budget for the month, and then just like get a bunch of homeless people a good meal, cleaned up, help them find jobs, help them clean up their lives, and then you're gonna get 50 million views.
Yeah.
You're gonna get 100 million views.
I mean,
Let me tell you what would piss you guys off the most is how much big pharma ad agencies probably get paid to make those generic commercials where it's just like B-roll of people just doing like basic things, like people skipping through a meadow, people going to a bar, and they literally make commercials for drugs. Like you see it, every single drug commercial just has like people on random things, like people on a cruise ship, and it's
one
like
of those scooters like going downhill.
and they spend millions. They spend millions on those ads, just throwing it down the drain. And it's just like you sort of think about how much money is wasted.
Yeah.
And how that could actually be used to pay it forward like this.
Well, and I think about like the Ronald McDonald House. That was McDonald's big initiative to like give people a place to stay when their kids in the hospital, and like Wendy's has the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Like there are businesses that have philanthropic efforts, and I'm not saying those two are perfect examples, but like often it's like, look at this thing that we're doing, as opposed to just doing the thing, right? Like, yes, Mr. Beast made a video of this. Yes, he made money. On the other hand, like, I don't really follow his content, but like from what I know, this is sort of something he does. He regularly tries to help people out. Like, if you had a pharmaceutical company that just did a nice thing instead of staging a photo op, like, I guess I just don't trust them not to sort of cheapen the effect, right?
It's about money. And counterpoint to what you guys are saying, how about, we invest in, doing these things. If you start making a big deal about, like giving away medical treatments and stuff, and you're a company that does that medical treatment.
I'd really appreciate $1 billion. I know I'm never going to get that kind of money, though.
They can just wait for you to give it for free. Like, this is what happened in Africa when we started, doing all the food drops. Agriculture stopped because, again, everybody was sort of subsisting off of a lot of food drops. And so we sort of crippled them. And that's just
I can't set things on fire, though. That would be bad.
But I can also see, when you start, like, de-incentivizing the profit motive, companies don't.
Old people can live for now, I guess.
Come up with new ones. We can give Pfizer all the crap we want about what they're doing. At the same time, again, if one drug,
I control all the lives of the elderly.
Them making that money allows them to fund one drug that can save somebody from a terminal rare disease. It's kind of like, well, it's evil, but I kind of see it's.
But you want the other drug.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, it reminds me of like, do you remember Tom's shoes?
Oh yeah, they destroyed the economy in those regions.
Yeah, but their whole thing was like, you buy a pair of shoes from us, like you're spending money, but we're giving shoes away, right? So like theoretically, this sounds good, but there are of course consequences.
They destroyed the economy in a bunch of African towns because the cobblers all went out of work and couldn't buy anything. Everybody had free shoes, but it was. The guy who gets the leather goes to the cobbler then makes the shoes and then buys the leather. All of a sudden, no one's buying leather anymore. All of a sudden, the guy who makes the shoes can't make money. Now, because he can't make money, he's not buying the leather. The guy who gets the leather can't make money, he can't buy food. Neither
There are
going to
be 40 more episodes of Phineas and Ferb. How do you know that? Was it just announced?
Each of these jobs was important because they were all working for each other, making the
That's
machine
pretty
work.
cool.
And then some rich people came in and dumped a bunch of shoes on them. No, I'm saying, like, you know, look, people who are blind need surgery. I mean, that's just giving jobs to doctors, I guess.
Jimmy actually pointed out, is this not even like a great thing for capitalism in general to put, you know, people that were before, you know, broken or hurt back into the workforce now? They're healed, they're healthy, they're ready to work. So that's a good thing for capitalism as well. Though what he was doing, technically, I don't know if you'd already say it was a capitalist thing or not. It's irrelevant.
I think it's charitable, right?
Form of charity for sure.
Yeah.
But he's made a ton of money off it with his YouTube ads. And he's doing it for money.
And
I mean,
he has no idea where the music... That's
the real
true.
Reason, but he knows that he can make money off of charity.
Valiant Thor is
He
right.
paid off her retirement. That video went crazy. Like, he's talking to her and he's like, get this. This will be a good screenshot for the video, Mom. And then she's like, oh my God, Jimmy. And he's like,
but is that wrong? Like, if you are doing something good, but you make money off it, like, you benefit.
Great. Especially when you see, I mean, he is an example of how great something like that can become.
Valiant Thor is a correct person when it comes to Sleepy Joe.
She's retired now. She, like, does her one dramatic interview a year.
But I'm pretty sure it was like the companies would sponsor giving that stuff away. It's not like she was giving it away.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. He makes the money and he gives it away.
Yeah. He said he's going to give all his money.
And the problem,
You have to hide the documents before you're raided. That's what happened at Mar-a-Lago.
You know, like, where do you invest and what charities do you support? And that's why we're working on.
Don't let Mar-a-Lago happen to you.
Because the issue is, I see these stories like Bezos' wife, Mackenzie Bezos, gives all that money to wokeness. But these people are like, I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna give my money to Black Lives Matter, and then you're like, fine.
How about raising gas prices to $7 a gallon or whatever it was? Me.
It's like Sam Bankman-Fried, his effective altruism, and he's talking about, how can I get the most causes that cause the most good, and then he just donates to the Democratic Party because he believes that the Democrats cause the most good.
He donated people's money, other people's money.
Yeah, there we go. That's the distinction. So again, somebody would say, it's like Robin Hood, but then
it's reverse Robin Hood.
He's still.
I didn't know Rick had a pawn shop in Las Vegas.
We gotta talk about these two stories because we were talking earlier about cultural decay and societal decay. We were talking about how Jack Posobiec, his neighborhood was falling apart. He hasn't brought his kids back to see his childhood home. Welcome to MILF Manor, the most repulsive, exploitative, sordid, hate-to-hate show of all time, where blindfolded moms rub down shirtless sons and TV finally hits rock bottom. This is MILF Manor.
Oh, Rick from Pawn Stars, gotcha.
A bunch of sons, and they rub them. This is a 30 Rock joke.
I'm familiar with that stuff.
And they're actually doing the show right now. And then I want to give a special shout-out to Dana White for Power Slap.
Yeah.
Power Slap. Said to have its pay-per-view debut in March with the league's success. This is the show where people slap each other in the face and take turns to do it. And it's like, you gotta not get knocked down and get back up.
That's some Duck Dynasty shit right there.
Have you guys seen Idiocracy? In Idiocracy, it's Luke Wilson. It's a research experiment for hibernation. They forget about him. It's funny. It's Mike Judge. And then he wakes up 500 years in the future. He goes to some guy's house. And then, is there audio playing? Oh, there is. And then, they're cheering for the slap fight. And then he's watching a show called Out My Balls, and it's literally a guy.
Biden's like that grandfather who peacefully passes away slobbering in his sleep, but the passengers in his car die yelling and screaming. That's true.
Jackass without the stunts, pretty much. On my balls.
You see the clips from this where people they go and have seizures.
He's gonna get a second term though.
The one where the guy's face is huge on the left side. This guy. So what they're doing is they're standing with their arms behind their back about 2 feet away from each other across a table, and they're not allowed to take guard. That's the thing about boxing that's legit is you can defend yourself. You can't defend yourself in the sport. And then they just take CTE. They take palm bone to the face over and over until they fall down and go unconscious.
Look at this guy's face, man.
This guy's taking multiple shots to the side of the head. That's why his head looks like this.
The thing is, they have this as well as apparently it's a sport.
Have a blessed night, Valiant Thor. Thanks for hanging out in the chat.
Stand and slap the fist.
Exactly.
And in this, they take a full step and can turn their whole body and get their whole weight behind it, and it's so much more force.
Sometimes, like,
Yes, you can move and they use palm strikes.
How did your grandpa
Like I
explode?
said, it takes the sport of slapping another person,
Yeah, it's a sport.
and then it just
Makes it
you see the
knockouts.
palm,
Just knockouts.
the bone on the palm
Yeah.
come in behind the jaw and like pull it forward. And some of the strikes, it is like, I hope one of my someone's gonna get killed, and then it's gonna be great news. I think Dana's just laughing about it. And like, I don't know, I haven't talked to Dana about it.
How do you win? Like, they go back and forth and they hit each other until someone can't stand anymore,
I think
or
so,
has a seizure?
until someone either bows out or gets knocked
And
unconscious.
is this
I
like,
don't know.
is this
Alrighty,
like
I think we
there's, like,
cooked up all our
weightless,
stuff.
right? Like, do you pair people up
So that's
based on
cool.
size, or
I need an
weight?
iron golem now. I know that, and
I haven't seen a guy and a woman, a man
Okay.
and a woman yet.
alrighty.
Yet.
Well, at least it's
Power slap on YouTube.
This is all the stuff I'm planning on building. I just can't really see it right now. There we go. So, yeah, I need all that shit figured out at some point. 1 second.
not really a sport.
That we're about to be in. You'll be up there with boxing. You'll be up there.
No, it won't. This is so dumb.
And I'll be able to be a pioneer within this sport.
I've been through my life growing up on the streets, so I
There we go.
slap on the street. There ain't gonna be no chance of me quitting.
I was brought up in quite a rough area, so yeah, I've had to look after myself a few times. I think that will help the competition.
My grandma used to get me dog toys because she thought they were just normal kids' toys that squeaked. Nice. Well, if you had fun with them, then what's the point? That's how I feel. But did you have fun with them still? Is my question. Why didn't you have fun with them? Jeez. What did the toys ever do to you?
Oh, yeah, he's totally wound up.
Yes, it's just knockout porn, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah, this
Doctors
is a
come
great
in
way
there.
to
This
describe
guy's
it.
gonna have CTE. This guy's gonna have a trauma.
hey, now we are doing this for free on World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, I knew back in my day.
Wait a minute.
How is what? I don't get it. What is this?
It's a bastardization of something that's already popular. That Dana White's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all of this reminds me of UFC.
Yeah.
Just, except for the actual contact.
Oh, it's when they get the palm bone across the cheek jaw.
Alrighty.
Yeah, but look, like in UFC and MMA, people they fight, they block, they defend, they make mistakes. It's like it's a sport. It's a chess. It's combat.
There's strategy, yeah, it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
This is stand still. I'm gonna try and hit you as hard as I can, and you're gonna get hit.
Someone tweeted out, "What is it next? Like, to see who can survive a stabbing the best."
Well, if you ever watch the show How I Met Your Mother, they had like a slap bet, right? And like, if you lose the bet, you like one character gets to hit the other one as hard as he can, like whenever. And it's like that cross UFC. Like I don't understand why this would be fun. Also, like, are they gonna try to do like the wrestling thing where they're like, oh, well, these two have a rivalry because he hit him really hard in the face? Like,
I got it.
it's just weird.
You guys ever played doorknob when you were young?
And then you punch him in the shoulder or something.
No,
until they touch a doorknob.
Exactly. You yell doorknob, and then you're allowed to hit him in the arm. Until
Have
they
you
touch the
you ever
doorknob.
see those videos of the birds in the grain silo? No. What videos? Send the chat a link.
Everyone's got to eat a can of beans an hour before the event, and then you're standing there, and then as soon as someone hears it, everyone yells doorknob, and then you'll hear the guy yell safety, and then like the timer will call and be like, it's good. They'll go, oh, they'll all start running and start wailing on the guy trying to get to the doorknob.
But the doorknob's on a string and it's swinging back and
Oh, wait,
forth.
occasionally different people.
Swinging around.
Or you gotta open, or somebody pulls a card and like the doorknobs and boxes, you gotta open boxes and try to find it. Where's the key? Where's the key? Where's the key?
Bad doorknob.
Like, this doesn't.
That would be more artful than this.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, there's got to be some kind of skill component. It can't just be who can get the critical hit? Like,
So, like,
seriously.
how do you train for this?
Who goes first?
Like, do you train to fall down, or do you train to slap, or like?
You guys training? Remember in South Park when Cartman would be like, "Let's Rochambeau for it." I was like, "What is that?" First, I kick you in the balls.
Yeah.
Then you kick me in the balls, and whoever's still standing wins.
Yeah, who goes first?
And then he goes, "I'll go first," and then he kicks him in the.
JK, that was a barking, Burge arcing ad.
Sparring.
It's.
Sparring. This is gonna try and break your face because you're going into perform pretty soon.
Hey man, I'm reading all of your messages, so give me credit.
Yeah, hard sparring. So it depends. Like, if you're a light spar, maybe you focus on like the technical, maybe it's just tip. But maybe if you're hard sparring, you like give them some full palm action. You like to get real deep in there. I don't know. This is what we're reduced to. Like we're having philosophical conversations.
American Gladiators was like
Agility.
who was that?
That's weird. I don't know why I tried. Actually, I tried sending a link the other night in another YouTube chat, and that didn't work either. So I don't really know why you can't do that.
Panels of it or whatever. It's like we made fun of it, but that they had padding. And they had those big Q-tip things, and they were like...
It do be like that.
At least that was fun and silly.
I tried sending a video to Review Tech USA, but it just didn't send.
Really got hurt. American Ninja Warrior.
I love American Ninja Warrior. It's fascinating.
You know what I don't like about American Ninja Warrior? It's not fair to women.
Oh yeah, that provides strict requirements.
It's not that. It's the what is it called? The spider walk or whatever.
The wall, the vertical wall.
It's two walls, and you can jump into it and put your hands. If you're tall with a large arm span, no problem. But
You know the thing about the swamp and the clay and the diamonds? No, what swamp, clay, and diamond thing?
Be innovative and like figure out how to get through it. And then the first one that does it, we're like, wow, she was so smart.
Sideways.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
sideways, put her back. Like, I don't care. I feel like, yeah, that's true, and it's fair to acknowledge it. But like, it's a chance for her to really overcome true adversity.
I shouldn't say unfair to women. It's unfair to people with smaller stature or shorter arms,
Yeah.
but it tends to be the women. Because I watched one where the woman, her fingers touch the edge, just falls, and it's like she tried, like
Yeah.
her arms aren't.
Well, and like, what are they supposed to do if they like readjust the wall so they're closer? It's like slightly unfair to all the other competitors. Like, that's what I liked about American Ninja Warrior. So they just send anyone down that thing, and like, it doesn't matter who you are. And like, some people struggle on some things, other people struggle on other parts of the course. Like, it's fascinating to watch because it just depends on. I don't know.
Maybe we should.
Directly under the clay in the swamp, if you dig straight down, there's diamonds. Like down to bedrock? How far down do you have to dig? I didn't know that.
And it's like two guys going to a ring 1 hour after eating a
Huh. I'll keep that in mind for next time. I'm not in a swamp biome though, and those are kind of rare anyways. I'm like in a birch forest right now, but I had to burn everything down.
I'm waiting on this. This is actually going to be gold. This is the next big thing.
People are hang out at bars and be like, "You want to put on doorknob?" Like me and my, I used to play that when I was a kid.
I'm having a hard time saying this, but I want to talk about MILF Island. It's making me sad. It's MILF.
Let's gotta get
MILF Manor.
back to true culture.
Yeah. Back to what I understand.
MILF Manor is weird.
What is it?
Okay, I've just read very little about it, but like, it's a bunch of women who you might consider cougars, like their moms, all of them have to be, and they go to, I assume you would consider them a cougar, I'm not an expert, you go to like, they were filming in Mexico, but one of the requirements is that they bring one of their single sons. So, like, their son is living with all these guys, they're sort of weirdly group dating, because as a culture we decided that's something we're into. And, like, therefore, like, I saw one clip of it, and this one mom is like, "Careful, ladies, I might sleep with your son." Like, gives me, like, I just don't like it. It's so creepy. So, like, if your mom is single and you have a brother who's also single, they could go on this show, but your brother will be living with all these guys who are kind of trying to sleep with your mom.
Bro, like, imagine that you're going to school and you find out that your mom is on this show, and, like, you're getting roasted in the class. You're getting roasted in the class. You have, like, one good clapback, and they say, "But your mom was on MILF Island." Like, what do you even say about that?
Do you like Burger King?
Just hang your head in shame and then go to a different school. Like,
Or it'd be like, "My mom ran MILF Island."
My favorite Burger King sandwich is the Whopper. Why do you hate Burger King?
Change my life, yeah.
Or you can be, or like in all seriousness, you can be like, yeah, well, at least she won.
How do you win?
I don't know, but
what is
somebody
winning this show?
voted off the island.
It's just bad.
Define your own victory. So what? They each bring a son and then they pass their sons around to other ladies.
Yeah.
That's it. They all-
I've never seen a full episode, but like, it's like.
What were those things called where the swinger parties they put all their keys in a bowl?
Yeah, white parties. I think that's what it's called. White parties.
Or you put all your keys in a bowl and then they mix them together. When you're leaving, you grab it.
White parties might be coke parties.
Yeah, probably that. This was.
Yeah, I almost went to one of the swinger parties. I almost went to one with this girl in LA, and I just.
The chicken tendies. You don't like the tendies?
This one seems particularly weird because, like, what conversations are you guys having where it's like, come on, John, please come on the show. Like, mommy really needs to meet a younger man.
It's
like,
probably from the people from the.
What did the tendies ever do to you? Oh, the fries.
12 watched MILF porn.
It'd be the
Probably
fries.
Show watched MILF porn when they were in their, when they were.
I want to be in that boardroom. I want to figure out what they were on the good.
Let's just switch to something a little bit more wholesome. Have you guys seen professional tag?
Yeah.
That's fun. It's like an obstacle course, and like one guy's got to get away from the other guy, and he's running around, and that's fun. They're like jumping through obstacles and swinging through bars. The other guy's just trying to touch him. That's fun.
Yeah.
Project. We gotta have a professional Red Rover or something.
That would be so cool.
I don't know how you would.
You gotta have like the Timcast variety like game show where like every time we just come up with like a new game show every week.
We could totally do that at the new studio. We using that big building.
I was thinking of a game called Do You Want to Live, where you I don't even know if it's on YouTube. It's a skit, so I don't know if it's gonna play for TV whenever we get to it behind the scenes. Do you want to live? And it's like it's a joke about the Canadian assisted suicide stuff, where like people come in suicidal, like and then you get them all inspired. But then the skit would be like at the end of the show, like the family comes in like, so thank you so much, I love my life, and then they're like, yeah, I thought about it, but I still want to kill myself. I'm going through it.
Yeah, what you do is, I watched this thing. It said that every person who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived,
regretted it.
said that they regretted it.
They realized
and that as soon as they
Tell me your $1 million idea. I am all ears.
except having just jumped off this bridge. So that means
This is a place of ideas.
So you take people.
Reverse mid-USA, what does that
You
mean?
make life flash before their eyes, in a manner of speaking, and then they're all of a sudden like, I love life. It's like in Fight Club. Remember in Fight Club?
Oh, reverse Medusa, okay.
The liquor store guy.
Reverse mid-USA. Oh, man.
And then he says something really awful that I'm not going to repeat because it's when
Right, yeah, the one who,
I know where you live.
if you look at her, you turn into stone. For some reason, I read mid-USA.
And he's like, tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Most delicious meal he's ever tasted. Yeah.
Can I go back to Milk Manor for a second? Sorry.
Family friendly.
Something just crossed our mind. They couldn't make this show in reverse. They couldn't be like Dad's Island, right? Like you're a single dad, and you have a single daughter, and you guys come to the island, and then date each other. Like you couldn't
They
make that
identify
show.
as MILFs, though, and it's okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
How would you even get a reverse
Everyone would
Medusa,
freak out.
though?
It would be so weird. The dads would get angry at each other,
You gotta give it 10 years.
Yeah, like I just don't
It
understand.
probably wouldn't do well if it was called like Young Studs too. If it was just focused on the young guys that were gonna get laid with the older women, that might not play as heartily as like we're doing this for the ladies. Like this is all about strengthening women in our society.
Yeah, I just don't like this at all. Also, like,
Gamification of porn, man.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I just feel like if it's creepy if you made it adult men and younger girls, like you should also see it as creepy if it's older women and younger men.
It's
not just Epstein's Island at that point.
I don't know.
I was talking about how we're going to do like a morning show that's news, kind of like The View, but with sane women.
Grim snarl.
We've
I'll look it up.
Moms, and then other people who have asked, like, is there some way there could be a show that's like moms talking about issues that matter to them in politics and culture? Because The View certainly ain't it. And then I was like, we could totally do it. We've got a bunch of people.
Why does your friend look like that?
Friends of ours that are guests.
The fuck?
Our moms that talk politics that are sane, moderate.
Is he like about to die?
Even a little liberal. Sounds good. Someone just super chatted. This is from me. It says, please name the morning mom news show TimcastIRL. We won't.
You hope so.
That was a good one. That was good. I actually Personally, I'm really excited for the new space, and they're hard at work on it. But we can totally do.
So that's why you hope he's gonna die is because he smells bad.
We should totally do with Cat's Castle. Have like weird contests.
Yeah, hole in the wall. I'm a huge fan of that game. Yeah, that's so cool. They'd be standing on like a moving platform, and the wall would be moving towards them, but there would be like a cutout on the wall of a body. Yeah, they have to make the same position and like stand in the right spot, or they get pushed off the platform.
It's just I think you spell that with like just PU. I think it's P period and then U period, but it's both capitalized.
We could do like Red Rover contest or something. You can't really do Red Rover because it's not really a game.
We close on to do hard back then. It was Tom, I remember his last name.
We could do like a
You're okay, Tom.
Pro freeze tag.
35 years ago, you're okay.
Yeah, pro freeze tag.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
I think part of like entertaining stuff is like I think so many people who make entertainment right now are like, it has to either be sexual or it has to be super violent. And actually, like, what's entertaining is seeing people, like, try hard, you know what I mean? Like, with American Ninja Warrior, for, like, Pro Freeze Tag, like, people are trying to accomplish something, and, like, we like that. We root for people who are trying to, like, achieve.
I hate when I bite my tongue.
Somebody super chatted saying, this is Heron Gaming saying,
Grody.
2 shows in 1, it would become an MMA.
It's not a nice feeling.
So how about Dilf Island? This would be a really great spread. A really great sketch where it's like 10 MMA fighters with 20-year-old daughters, and they're all brought in, and it's just all the dudes beating the crap out of them.
Like when he's trying to talk to this girl, but also he's outside his daughter, and that other guy is talking to her. Like, that'd be terrifying. That would actually be a great show. But also, like, all the men would be accused of being super creepy, and like, I think that should apply to these women who are like, you're the same age as my son. Great.
And they're rubbing their chests like, it's ridiculous.
It's super weird.
I played cool math games when I was in school. That's when I would check it out, me.
New seasons. And like Ricky Murphy, who voiced Blue Man's not around anymore, what Bobby Hill's gonna be, same little kid or something. They're doing a new Frasier. It's just everything.
It's a good time waster, that's for sure.
Cheers. And then now they're doing another one, and it's just like they keep remaking.
There was also this game where it was like a cool collection of retro arcade games that I would play when I was younger, but I just forgot what it's called. I would stream that though if I ever found that one.
This was always where this was headed. A sort of electoral strategy inherent threat that a minority group poses to your society is not one which ends with a moderate denunciation. It will always end in genocide unless cultural trends change. In this case, they've only gotten worse. I wonder if any of these mutilation bans will even dare to touch them.
I used to play Quack too. That's like the one where you try not to fall down and die.
Completely medically unnecessary, except in some very specific circumstances. A practice of circumcising young boys, which is, affects literally tens of millions of them. And I wonder.
Of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable.
Have you played Flappy Bird?
Investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My department.
What?
What about Pocket God?
What? I know what he's referring to here. He's referring to the fact that the use of hormone blockers for like gender reasons is it is a what's the term exactly? It's like an out of
Okay, so all that's done now. Subways. I haven't played that one.
But when we give medicine to children, oftentimes it's off-label. off-label doesn't mean that it's bad or destructive. It means that the FDA approved them for a very, very, very specific reason. And that is the bureaucratic, form that has been filed. Using something off-label doesn't mean that it's being done, illegally or harmfully at all. Off-label stuff is used all the time. Constantly. For instance, aspirin, right? Some people use aspirin to help with heart issues, don't they? Aspirin's a pain reliever, so using it for alleviating heart issues would be an off-label use of aspirin. But it's something that doctors recommend, all the time, because it's, a really simple, easy, cheap thing that anyone can do, you know? Ivermectin? Well, technically, yes. Using ivermectin to treat COVID would be an off-label use of ivermectin. It would also be a medically non-recommended use, whereas aspirin for the heart and puberty blockers to, block puberty would be medically recommended.
Board of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations or sex discrimination.
No, we're literally talking about jackbooted folks of the state.
I just need to figure out how to work on this second story.
Far be it from me to make a comparison to the Nazis, but this is some serious Gestapo shit. Remember that totalitarian governments rely heavily not just on the legislation, but also on the fear of ambiguous legislation. The Republicans are gunning at the moment not just to arrest or to prohibit anything related to trans people, but also to introduce laws so punitive and so vague and hard to enforce that they become a kind of Schrodinger's felony sentence, where if you ever fall on the bad side of the Republican Party, many local officials, or hell, guys, of any local QAnon soccer mom, then all they have to do is make a fuss in their local district, and you could be facing federal charges over hearsay.
Alrighty.
Your licensing revoked, they could just fire you for that. This is a...
Is Subway Surfers for mobile?
That exceeds the McCarthy era, because while the McCarthy era might have involved a lot of teachers losing their licenses and getting fired and so on, it also didn't really involve the complete ethnic, or sorry, not ethnic.
You don't know?
So I'd say in this respect, we're actually managing to exceed that, pretty impressive stuff. Why do they hate trans people? Because they hate degeneracy. They think trans people are degenerate. Just, if you ever want to wonder, why do the Republicans hate a group of people, just go back and read.
I've seen that game advertised before. That's pretty funny.
Predictable answer. Right through here.
I don't know what it's about though, but I've seen it before.
I think a lot of it at this point is done for its own sake. I mean, look at it. Republicans famously underperformed in the midterms, in large part because they hyper-focused on trans issues, despite polling indicating that a lot of Republican voters feel trans issues are less important than literally anything else. And what are they doing now? They're tripling down for trans issues. They are completely committed to this line, more so than anything else. It is very fitting in with their ideology that they would literally shoot themselves in the foot, literally.
You folded some kid in Fortnite today at your school? Noise. How did that feel?
Also, anyone else feel like Donald Trump was pretty low energy in that clip as well? They couldn't really feel his beating heart pounding beneath that. Just a very matter of fact. What do you think? I don't think Trump cares about trans people. I don't think. It's like an applause-made thing.
Percent.
Maybe he's just not the guy to talk about it. He's also pretty old. Yeah. What's this idea that trans stuff is mostly to shift focus away from tax issues? Okay. So, in the party duopoly that we have in America, Democrats and Republicans both serve their corporate interests. The reason for this is because the GOP and the DNC both are massive...
I'm just working on a thumbnail right now, by the way. Almost there. Alrighty.
Well, you don't need to think about it. DNC
Now we're good.
2022. Fundraising 2021 and 2022. 300 million. Wait, no, sorry. My bad. I apologize. 1 billion. There we go. Sorry. It was the DNC, the DSCC, the DCCC. The Republicans aren't far behind either. So near $1 billion. That's a lot of money. And that doesn't even come close to cover a lot of other stuff that has to get paid out for these parties to be effective in our country. Where did we get that? Well, obviously, a lot of this comes from corporate interest. A lot of this comes from wealthy people, private sort of investments, fundraisers that have to be facilitated by and attended by the ultra-wealthy. You need to be on the good side of corporate. That's just how it runs in this country. You can't really get around this. Bernie...
Short people with fast metabolisms are like eco-friendly people. I'm glad that's your experience.
So, with that being said, both parties, since they need to get along with corporations, need to propose legislation that corporations will at least tolerate. Republicans tend to be a little bit more nakedly anti-regulation, anti-tax, but both parties have to come to terms with reasonable deals. The thing is, it's really difficult to run on that. Like, can you imagine a president running when they're like, yeah, my goal is to lower corporate taxes and lower capital gains taxes, and also I want less regulation of the market. It doesn't sell that well. So instead, the Republicans and Democrats both try to get you on board with voting for them based on something else. For Democrats, it tends to be liberal progressive reform, and for Republicans, the opposite. It's reactionary reform. And I think that what we're seeing right now is a kind of mutation, like a metastasization of the Republican strategy of biting people, bringing them in with promises of reactionary culture or virtue signaling, and then passing their legislation. I think now Republicans are operating for a reactionary policy.
Candy, what kind of a candy? Why would you need instructions with candy? You can just eat it. You have no idea. It is, but that's life, you know? What are you reading on your notes? Why is a baby cow out here? Oh.
Hey. They're totally fine. They're learning to get to, learning how to play with each other. Oh my god, he's so jealous, yeah.
Get back here, motherfucker.
Dumbass little guy. To be fair, that was a very restrained smack. Yes, it was. He wasn't trying to.
There we go.
If he did, he could have his claws out. You can tell when cats are actually fighting because cats.
Oh my god.
They like roll onto something, grab it with their front legs, and then try to kick it to death with their claws out. Artemis
Don't think about it.
100% not like an actual violence thing. Yeah. Michelle, thank you so much for the gift sub. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thank goodness. No more whitening. True. Holy shit, they do it hurt so much. Yeah, Artemis will do that to me, where he'll like grab onto my hand with his front arms or hands, and then he'll start death kicking the underside of my forearm. I don't really mind it. I expect him to go all out on me. My goodness. I've almost finished beating all of the Ground Zero things in that Rotato game. I hate the name Rotato, but I do like the game. It is fun. Speaking of rumor, the DOJ found out the Southern Baptist Church was about 400 pastors convicted of sexual pedophilia against women. Yeah, that fucking guy. Literally no outcry from Republicans, like literally nothing, even though this right here is more cases of child abuse from this specific group of pastors than has ever been found against like trans, drivers, whatever. Legitimately, I think if you looked in all of the United States, in all of the trans people in prison, you would find fewer child sex criminals than you have right here in this one investigation of this one group. Oh, dope, man. Tough game, man. Is the next back? This does not surprise me. Yeah, it doesn't terribly.
Now, the plan is to finish this building, which will be my new house, basically. And this area over here is like a farming village kind of area. And all of this is done in survival, by the way. So, I don't know if anyone really cares about that, though.
What is Hi-Fi Rush? Hi-Fi Rush. Oh, I think I saw this on Twitter. Oh, sorry for the music. That was probably copyrighted. Whatever, just 2 seconds of it. What is this?
That's me. And you're probably wondering how I ended up here. Well, it's pretty standard.
Okay.
Okay, immediate impressions of this are very high. I love the art style.
See ya, me. Have a nice night. Don't forget to drop by when you see me live.
It's like the apex of what I see.
Buster Brown.
Of what I mean when I say irony ruins everything. Sunset Overdrive could not have a single fucking gameplay idea without it like indicating to you that it's like it's really cool and like you know, like it doesn't really care about that idea. And actually, that idea is pretty dumb. But like, haha, we're playing a video game, so like that. But this seems a lot more sincere. So I like it. Damn! Holy shit! Husbando? Husbando? Oh my god! Look at that. And a waifu. Okay, one critical problem here. Their heights need to be swapped. All right. The lady needs to be 8 feet tall. Right up here, and the guy needs to be right here. Okay, that's the main problem, I think. She's far away. Yeah, but still. I don't think they're the same height. He still looks far bigger. Okay, that music is definitely copyright. This looks really good. Oh shit. I can see all of the anime waifu archetypes getting busted out here. I'm saying that unless she's 16, in which case I'm not saying that, and actually we're moving on. Never fucking tell with these games. No Bosch is original, really?
Just so you know, there is
That's not original. I know this song. What are you talking? Bro, don't worry about DMCA. It's an original song. Meanwhile, like a fucking, yeah, the Black Keys, yeah, fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry. Fuck you. It's my channel. Okay. Anyway, it looks good. It has streamer mode that has some good tracks. Oh, that's nice. This looks really nice. Oh, hell yeah, dude. $146 million views song on YouTube, by the way. Yeah, true. Oh, dude, fully Cooley reference? Destroying a giant robot by hitting it in the face really hard with a souped-up guitar. Fully Cooley reference? Hello? 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 That looks dope as hell. Alright, cool. Yeah. This is cool as fuck. Yeah, I like it. What the fuck is fully Cooley? Here, hold on. Somebody said that Hassan is beefing with H3H3. What's happening? What are we doing? It's $30 on Steam. Why is it half price? No, people are overreacting. There's no drama at all? Okay. So if I go here, and then I go here to Hassan and trending topics, let me see. No? Looks fine. Okay, it's fine. Probably got the deepfake stuff? Maybe. There's drama, but not me. Okay. What drama? What is Ethan Klein in trouble for? I can never tell, because if you ever look up Ethan Klein on Twitter, it's just a bunch of people who are furious with him for existing all the time. Kind of like me, I guess. H3H3 was messed up in the deepfake stuff. Is it this? I'm beyond disgusted by H3H3 Productions' reaction to Cutie Cinderella's stream detailing her experience as a victim of illegal AI porn using her face. Women's pain is never taken seriously. This is so triggering. That it? Yes?
Why? Why? What is going on with you?
Sorry, don't mind me.
If you are able, they're not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually. You're a monster, dude.
Is Ethan Klein a Korean girl? Why is he hiding his face in his shirt?
You guys are crazy.
Why did you do that?
Zach, what the fuck, bro? Holy shit! Oh my god, who's controlling which camera to put on the display feed right now? Oh my god. This is the least amused face imaginable. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. To be fair, I laugh at inappropriate times too. Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily in a position to criticize Ethan here, probably because I also tend to deflate serious situations with jokes. I think a lot of people can do that. Maybe this one just kind of sold pretty poorly, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like conceptually there's nothing wrong with it, but in execution here it was pretty, yeah, I don't know, pretty insensitive, I guess. He told the guy to play the music. So Ethan asked the guy to do it, so Ethan was the one who, okay. Jesus.
Dude, what the fuck, bro?
What is going on here?
I'm just speechless, dude.
Get it out of
what the fuck is happening? Is nobody willing to take charge on this and be like, okay, back to it? Everyone's so nervous here. Holy shit.
I'm glad a spruce biome is so close, though.
Hey, man, fucking, you have a whole, like, streaming crew here, and everyone's, like, eyeing the one loaded pistol with one bullet they leave in the center of the table for, like, emergency out, you know? Oh my god. The vibes are off. They're all desperately trying to bite the cyanide capsule they have stored in the... It's like, oh my god. Yeah, the tension, Jesus Christ. I feel worse for them than I do for the girl who was crying and got interrupted. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yikes. That was insane.
Yeah.
They're not benefiting, they're not selling it, they're not platforming it themselves. If you are able to look at that, you are the problem. You see women as an object. You should not be okay.
He still has the fucking giggles, dude. It's over. It's over. Oh no, it's fucking over, dude. Oh no. He still has the giggles. Fuck. What was the most inappropriate set of the giggles that you guys have ever had? I think I remember one time, like, really early when I was in middle school, there was a death of one of the students. I think it was like a car accident. I never knew them. They were in a different year than me, so I didn't know them at all. But we were in the auditorium and it was announced, and one of my dipshit friends was, I don't even remember what we were saying or what was happening there. But I had to contain the giggles on that, man. That was so fucking bad. Gosh, that's Cutie Cinderella, you know that, right? Well, I know that because it said that in this Twitter video. I don't know who Cutie Cinderella is. I don't really keep up with, like, the normie Twitch sphere that much.
Okay, I think this is a good amount to start out with.
Yeah, he's Ludwig's, yeah.
Plus, I got a sapling, so might just regrow shit.
I feel like I don't actually know the legal situation on this. Is it possible to do anything about deepfake porn? Because that feels like it's like the easiest thing in the world to make, right? Can't you literally just, like, go onto a software and then it's like, here's the person's face and then here's, like, a porn shoot with somebody's naked body, done. With the tech available, isn't that, like, an incredibly easy thing to do? Is there any law on that? Yeah, I don't know. That seems like... I don't... How would you even... Because, like, past the point, you couldn't even tell the difference, right? So, like, morally, making something like that isn't really that different from leaking somebody's nudes, kind of, right? I guess? Because leaking somebody... the reason why revenge porn is illegal isn't because, like, oh no, you revealed the secret, the size of my areola. Like, that was secret info, and now that secret is out. You've revealed the secret. This is revenge porn. Like, that's not why revenge porn is illegal. Revenge porn is illegal because we're talking about, like, the dignity of the person whose porn it is, right? We're talking about, like, the feelings around them, like the presentation. And if that's the case, it doesn't actually matter if it's their porn or if it's convincingly faked videos of their porn, does it? Like, does that... I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I don't actually know where that would fall, like, legally. Especially because if you think about it, like, oftentimes you could, like... Okay, it's revenge... Okay, so if I took a picture... Or, sorry, not a picture. If I took a video of me jerking off, which is known to happen, you know, but then something new happened, which was that it got posted online. Because I only leak pictures of myself, you know. I have class. If a video of me jerking off got leaked online, how... Okay, if somebody leaked that, that would be revenge porn. But what if somebody just found some way of, like, deep faking a 3D, like, kind of pale white guy with my hair color and hair distribution. Like, what if they just, like, constructed or found something like that and then just released it, but it doesn't have my face? Well, even if there's no deep faking involved, couldn't you just say, like, hey, this is like a nude of Bosch, and then drop it, and it's not me, but it looks like me, and I wouldn't even be able to prove it's not me, even if I posted what I looked like naked, because it looks enough like me that it's just like, oh, that could just be a different, like, lighting setup, that could just be a different chair you're in, that could just be, where are we going with this? I don't know. I guess what I'm kind of curious about, like, how you could ever create consistent legislation that protects people's dignity in the same way that revenge porn laws do, while taking into account the potential of any kind of duplicity with that stuff. I don't know. I don't even know. I have no idea. Yeah. I have no clue. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to think about it. I actually can't. I guess it wouldn't be illegal then? Yeah, I don't know. Because you guys know that, like, right now, we're probably only a little while away from, like, AI. You could type in, like, post video of Germa getting railed in ass, and then it would take like a minute to find out who Germa is, and it would find like 8,000 images of Germa from all angles, and then like construct his face in 3D, like algorithmically, and then it would be like, find what railed in ass means, and it would find a bunch of videos of ass railing, and then be like, okay, Germa, imposing visual, imposing body type, imposing da-da-da, and then like after like 30 seconds of the AI fidgeting around, you have basically an indistinguishably accurate video of Germa getting railed in the ass. And in a world like that, would doing that be illegal? Like if like the FBI open up, like knock down your door or something? I don't know. I feel like we're walking into territory where we don't have easy like ethical or legal answers for some of the questions that are coming up. You know? I don't know, man. Because like we've never really successfully made technology illegal, but that's kind of what that would do. Because you can draw Germa getting railed in the ass. I'm sure plenty of people do. Nobody's suggesting that be made illegal. So it's not the actual act of like sexualizing Germa. It's the indistinguishability, which is more of a technological thing than anything. I don't know. I don't know. I think the more the answer is outside of the law, yeah, I get that, yeah. Sexualizing people can be defamation. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think it's wrong to sexualize people without their consent. Do you mean like in your head? Like if you see a chick with a big rack at a bus, and in your head you're like, damn, them big squishy. Like that. If that's over the line, then it's over, man. But like, obviously, there's a huge line between that and like the deep fake insta porn algorithm creation. You know? I don't know. Fuck, that's it. I genuinely have no idea where you draw a line on this, man. Holy fuck. Guys, quit freaking out about the clipping. I don't think anything I'm saying here is wrong or even controversial. It's just difficult. I don't even. The reason why I keep repeating that over and over is because I'm like stalling for time, where I try to think if I have some like innovative solution, but I obviously don't. I don't actually have a. It hurts to think about. Well, yeah, it's weird. Well, you already have Deep Corny released. You just have the surgeon of the pseudonym Xander Corvus. True. Though since I cut my hair, I feel like we look less alike than ever before. Thank you very much for the 452 subs, Saga. I'm trying to work in my brain right now. Oh yeah, what about that? What about people making porn videos where you're doing parodies of existing people, and you have people who look like existing people, like Raylan Palin, the Sarah Palin one? Like that's the one I know. I'm sure there's like porn parodies of a lot of famous people. That's not the same. No, it's not the same. is something there, right? Like, when is the line close enough that we're talking about, like, you know, and how much of this is like familiarity bias, where it's like, well, this is okay because I'm used to it, but this other thing isn't because I'm not, you know? But that is parody in an objective I would know. Okay, what if it was an identical twin? I know it sounds dumb, but like, really, what if it was an identical twin who did all the affectations, wore the clothing of their twin, who they hated, I guess, like one twin is like a porn star, the other's like a politician or something, and they like indistinguishable, you know? That's like, obviously that wouldn't be illegal, but how, like, yeah, not defamation probably, would just be like really weird, be pretty fucking weird. I don't know. Can we get a law for feels weird? Yeah, if only. Is it not? I thought impersonating someone to do that's illegal. No, impersonating someone isn't inherently illegal. Okay, here's my conclusion so we can fucking move on, okay? I feel like the ability to make convincing nudes and nude videos of every public figure is basically already here and will only get more ubiquitous with time. And there's probably no way to legally stop that. So we're just going to have to accept the fact that if you have any public notoriety or fame or anything, inevitably there will be convincing nudes of you out there. And I think we're just going to have to adjust our cultural or like social standards to like not consider that something, if that makes any sense. Yeah, the Pandora's box kind of feels like it's been opened. You would have to go like, okay, yeah, so you can find a video that looks like it's me like taking a bunch of dick, but it's obviously not me because I wouldn't release a video like that. So it's a fake video, so whatever, you know. That feels like it sucks, but I don't know if there's a solution to this outside a shift in cultural norms. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue. Sorry. Really sucks. And Soak Done Left says, oh my god, popping any celebrity railed in acid to stable diffusion already works. There are dozens of porn-specific models. We're going to see so much more fake porn the next decade. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Personally, I've never gotten any of this bullshit, okay? Because apart from the fact that there are lots of, like, attractive celebrities, I don't understand, like, the cool part of seeing somebody naked for me has always been that they took their clothes off in front of you for you. The idea of, like, now I have power over you, Pokimane, because I used an AI to put your face onto a pre-existing model of someone. It's like, okay, I don't know. It seems pretty fucking weird. Maidenless behavior, it's true.
Doing that. That it should not be a part of...
I don't think it has anything to do with power. No, 100% it does. Do you remember the fappening when a bunch of celebrity nudes got leaked because of that data leak or whatever? The discourse around their nudes being leaked. We're talking about, like, celebrities who had like, some of these nudes were literally, like, you see the side of one nipple in, like, a shitty, like clamshell camera picture or whatever. It was all about, like, yeah, now we own these bitches, right? It was like, it wasn't like, yeah, now I saw a side titty. It was about, like, the power and ownership they felt they had over people, you know?
My job to have to pay money to get this stuff taken down. It should not be part of my job to be harassed, to see pictures of me nude spread around. It should not be something that is found on the internet. It shouldn't be. That shouldn't be.
Okay. Maybe now I do have to have the hot take. Infinite sympathy to her, but I wonder if this is going to make it worse, right? if you can effortlessly make convincing deepfake nudes of any public figure, saying like I can pay money to take it down, I don't think you can. I think you might end up doing the what's it called, the Streisand effect, where it's like, hey, I found out there's this software that can create convincing nudes of me on this one website, and I will take it down. First of all, the likelihood of getting stuff taken down off the internet is not often reliable because, yeah, for a variety of legal reasons. But secondly, it's like, now it's like, okay, well, so that technology can do this again in what, 3 minutes? Yeah, it's like an ad for the system. I don't know. Again, like, I want to be clear, I feel really bad for her here. I just genuinely have no idea what you can do in a situation like this. Yeah, I don't know. What Maya posted, I don't know what you mean. Maybe she can successfully sue the site that hosts the one this streamer paid for. Yeah, but like, if you could just make this in 3 minutes. You could just like upload it anywhere. So porn is made of me is now an unavoidable part of being famous. I guess VTubers forever. I guess, yeah, kind of, yeah, right? Yeah, I guess so. Wait for the rest of what she has to say. Well, the video is done. Here's what Maya posted about this. AI was a mistake? Yeah, of course. Obviously, the Imperium figured that out. Who's Maya? Hi, I'm Bird Girl. Okay, so Maya's Bird Girl. We have that information. Streamer? We are Maya here. Okay, so there's a thing here. Okay. In 2018, I was inebriated at a party and I was used for a man's sexual gratification without my consent. Today, I would have been used by hundreds of men for sexual gratification without my consent. The world calls my 2018 experience rape. The world is debating over the validity of my experience today. Is she one of the people who had a deep fake made of her? The world is debating over it. The debate over our experience as women in this is not shockingly amongst men. None of you should care or listen to what any male streamer's take is on how we feel. True, except for me, of course. I founded a non-profit animal sanctuary in 2022. I've raised over $1 million for conservation work at 24 years old. I've created zero sexual content in my 3 years on Twitch. Despite this, my face was stolen. Some men can make me into a sexual object to use for themselves. If anyone doesn't think this is a big deal, that my name is in headlines, where thousands of people are commenting on the sexualization of my body against my will, you are the problem. The situation is making me feel disgusting, vulnerable, nauseous, violated, and all these feelings are too familiar for me. This is not your debate. Stop acting like this. Yeah, she's totally right here, except for the misandry, obviously. We condemn her sexism in the broadest terms. I just don't really know what can be done. I genuinely don't. I have no idea. I don't really know. I don't really know what can be done about. Bosch porn artists have been edging celebrities for years. Yeah, but it's never really been to the extent that there was a threat of it being like indistinguishable from real stuff. Make deepfakes illegal without consent. Yeah, but how can you tell if a deepfake is convincing enough? You couldn't prove it's a deepfake, right? Like that's the problem. We're talking about just information just being thrown out there on the internet. Can't you tell through software? Maybe now, but always? What if it has a gray filter? What if it has like a JPEG artifacting? Deepfake can be detected by AI. I wouldn't rely on AI to solve our AI problem here. I guarantee you that it is possible right now, if you want to take the deepfake of someone famous and stitch it together with some porn, and then like tweak it in Photoshop to the point where it's not distinguishable as a deepfake. You can do that for sure, 100%. In fact, I could do it. I'm confident. I know enough about image alteration just for my basic like streaming setup stuff that I feel like I can do that pretty easily. Do it right now. No. I feel like it'd be really easy to do. You can't do it to a video. Well, you would have to cut down the video's resolution, right? If you deepfake a porn video that's at 1080p, and then you add a grain filter to it, very subtle, and then downscale it to 480p, yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty tough to, yeah. It'd be too bad of you at that point. 480p? Jesus Christ, tell me you're a fucking zoomer. 480p was the gold standard of pornography resolution for a long time, you fucking ingrate. Yeah, this isn't even to speak of non-pornographic, exploitative uses of deepfakes. Honest question, but what would be the response if it was a male streamer who was deepfake flash? I don't really think we need to do the reverse the roles here thing, because this doesn't really feel like appropriate. However, I think you could reasonably say that if the roles were reversed and it was a guy, the guy would probably not care that much, and neither would the community, and probably be more of a joke thing. But like, that's not like an own against, that's not like the women are taking it seriously. Like, there's a lot going on there. Yeah. Do you think we're past the point of video evidence being admissible in court? Not right now, no. But, like, these are problems we're going to have to deal with. That's because they're not subject to lifelong sexualization against their will, boss, you're right. Yeah, and for me, I don't actually think it's just because of lifelong sexualization. I think it's because of the way people online treat it. So, if you're a hot guy, so say you have a hot guy and a hot girl, and both of them have nudity, okay? So there will be a core group of people who are just going to be, in both cases, like, goddamn, they're hot. Like, there will be that for the guy and the girl, right? Holy shit, they're hot. Wow. Jesus Christ, you're banging, that'll happen for both. However, one thing will happen to the girl that won't happen with the guy, which is there will be this gigantic community of insane stalkers who will take all this porn and use it to try to express power over her. They will harass her. They will show up in her chat and give her shit over it. They will harass her in real life at events. They will start stalking her. They will dedicate their lives to seeing her, like, naked IRL by, like, raping her or whatever. They will send her threatening emails. They will send the nudes to her fucking family. They will do everything. That's the main difference. All of this is worsened by, like, the communities that interpret it, totally, like, yeah. Now, this can happen to guys. I'm not saying it can't. Just, like, let's be real. We're talking about a huge disparity in the likeliness of it happening and how much it would happen. And I think that's ultimately what the women are afraid of, right? Like, in my experience, a lot of ladies, lady streamers, whatever, they don't really care about people, like, in the abstract. They don't care about people seeing them naked, right? Like, a lot of these streamer ladies are banging anyway, right? It's not so much that. It's more like it would cultivate this huge shift in the atmosphere around them and what they have to deal with, the way people would treat them, and the vibes they would cultivate and everything, I mean, you see this as well with, like, if you had two, like, non-sexual wholesome streamers, a guy and a girl, and both of them had nudes leaked, the guy could keep doing that wholesome thing. The girl kind of couldn't, because now a ton of people in her audience are going to use the leaked nudes as like a justification for corrupting the nature of the content that she produces. Yeah, there will be hate watchers. There will be people using it as ammunition. There will be people who only watched her to begin with because they thought she was hot, and now that they've seen her naked, they feel like they're entitled to sexualize her directly to her face. All this stuff is like, yeah, and shame from the Puritans as well, which doesn't really happen as much to guys. So it's a social thing, It's like what the women have to deal with as opposed to what the guys have to deal with. Yeah, so that's not good. threat deepfakes would have towards monogamous couples? Well, like I said, our cultural standards are going to have to shift. If you're famous, there's a decent likelihood that eventually you're going to have videos of you fucking someone. The really fucked up stuff is going to happen when people start using this the same way they do swatting, which means they're going to create deepfake child porn. They're going to take what's his name, the fucking Rings of Redemption guy, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to own this guy for good, and then they're going to deepfake a video of him with a kid and post that online, and that's just an infinite, like, legal and social firestorm for something that you can probably cook up in a couple of minutes with modern AI software. So the future is now, I guess. Don't give them ideas. Trust me, they already have those ideas. At least that's arrestable, potentially. How often do the police actually, like, catch people who do, like, swatting or internet death threats or whatever? Yeah, probably any. These issues have been prevented if we as a society were more stringent in regulating on AI like 7 years ago. I don't even know what regulations you could do on machine learning to have any meaningful impact on the potential for stuff to be misused in this respect. Alright, let's move on from this topic. It's all downhill from here. The guy who attacked Paul Pelosi phoned into Fox News. The Pepe, in bizarre phone call to KTVU, says he should have been more prepared for Pelosi attack. Remember? This was when there was an assassination attempt on the Democratic Speaker of the House, and Republicans thought it was hilarious and laughed about it. And then they said that actually it was Paul Pelosi's gay lover who did it. I remember.
Hours later, I received a phone call from the PAP while I was in the KTVU newsroom.
Something else keep the body cam footage. Have an important message for everyone in America. You're welcome. Freedom, liberty isn't dying. It's being killed systematically and deliberately. The people killing it have names and addresses. So I got their names and addresses so I could pay them a little visit. Have a heart-to-heart chat about their bad behavior.
The PAP offers an apology, not for the attack that seriously injured Pelosi and left him hospitalized for several days with a
This is a Fox local channel, not Fox News. Yes, it's a local channel, yes. Yeah, thank you to Pepe. Okay, cool, so it's confirmed he was politically motivated. Well, they're still lying and saying it was his gay lover. I mean, he literally calls in and he was like, yeah, this was a political hit. But actually,
I want to apologize to everyone. I messed up. What I did was really bad. I'm so sorry. I didn't get more of them. It's my own fault. No one else is to blame. I should have come better prepared.
The suspect in the Pelosi attack says that he spent all his time exposing online what he calls government corruption, only to have his freedom of speech silenced, with his website shut down.
I have a lot more to say. I had a website of over 300 pages. That's 300 pages of stuff they don't want me to hear. I'm in the process of trying to set up a new site out of the reach of tyrannical global homo fascists and their internet censors.
Hold on. He didn't say global there, did he?
Set up a new site out of the reach of tyrannical global homo fascists.
He didn't say global. He said globo homo. The Nazi conspiracy theory that this is all being done to promote homosexuality. Didn't catch that, huh?
I'm in the process of trying to set up a new site out of the reach of tyrannical global homo fascists.
Yep, there are 2 extra syllables there. One more time, I'll turn it up.
I'm in the process of trying to set up a new site out of the reach of tyrannical global homo fascists and their internet censors.
There you go. Nice. Just lefty gay lover of Paul Pelosi.
Our conversation lasted just under 5.5 minutes. I wasn't able to challenge his statements and ask follow-up questions. He tells me he did not want to jeopardize his case. The Pap faces state charges of...
He didn't want to jeopardize his case, but he called and said, yeah, I visited for political purposes. I'm sorry I didn't kill more of them. Excellent. Do you think this guy... Does this guy have, like, a public defender or something? Or do you think a lawyer, like, heard this on the news? Or whatever? Like, the journalist got to him? Before the lawyer could smack the phone out of his hand? Now the guy's just retarded. Well, he's crazy. He's insane. We're going to enter a whole new era of stochastic terrorism from mentally ill neo-Nazis. I just quit being a lawyer at that point. Yeah, I wouldn't want to waste my time defending him. Fucking. Yeah. Nice. Are you down to watch a 30-minute Falun Gong takedown video? Nope. Chad says he's a sovereign citizen. He's a Nazi. Some of the videos that he had on his website literally had the, like, Happy Merchant drawing. Wow, you guys have been awfully generous with the donations, considering it's late night stream. Let me read these. We have a debate in 35 minutes, so no Bayonetta. Well, we'll see after the conversation, right? Hold on. There was another guy who might have wanted to come on. Oh shit, another guy does want to come on. Fucking sure, what do you want to discuss? I have COVID. Cough is basically gone, so it's fine to go on. Oh shit. We'll just have debates. We do debates, like, I'll play Rotato in the background. I love having a game in the background while I debate. It actually helps me focus. Unironically, it does. I get agitated if I'm just, like, sitting here with my hands doing nothing, you know? Classic ADHD behavior. How long do you think the guy who made the Kurzgesagt hit piece is going to want to be on? An hour? Should I schedule the second debate an hour and a half after? Clearing 90 minutes feels like it'd be enough, right? Are you free at 9:30 PT tonight? We could talk over Discord. That's one conservative. 2 hours each, please. Yeah, but sometimes it's like you book for 2 hours and then like they run away in 15, and it's like, well, fuck, okay. And then you just have to like twiddle your thumbs for a bit. I think an hour and a half is fine. Okay, so I'm gonna put 9:30 in for that, and I have to make a Zoom thing for the first guy. I think I should hold on. How much Zoom subscription? If I'm gonna make the Zoom, I should probably just get the thing, right? $150 a year per user for Pro? Are you fucking joking? Why? No, how much money did Zoom make during the pandemic? Tax write-off? Yeah, I'll write it off, sure. Yeah, I write everything off my goddamn taxes. I'm writing Danil off. I showed him off on stream, okay? I buy toothpaste. I'm like, yeah, well, having pearly whites is a stream necessity, so... Up to 40 minutes per meeting. $150 a year. Man, do I want to spend $150 just to get the Zoom thing? Pardon me? How long is he even up there? I just heard him breathing. Don't joke about that on stream. The IRS is fucking angry right now. Yeah, that's true. Pardon me. He's doing a deep breath. He's having a nice big sleepy time up there.
Alrighty guys, that's going to be the stream for tonight. Thanks for checking it out if you did. We did more of this front area. We fancied it up a little bit. And I'll be back tomorrow for some more content, so stay tuned. You guys have a wonderful night, and see you later.
do I really want to buy this? Bosch, you're literally in the 1%.